bro. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bro, listen, yeah. All right. Let me call.
Welcome to State TV Unfiltered. Junior, can you mute your mic, bruv?
Yeah, cool.
Junior, mute your mic, bruv. Junior, mute, bruv. Junior, we just gone live and you're having a conversation. You got to mute.
Is it live?
Yeah.
Amateur, another amateur. Welcome to State TV Unfiltered. Right, with a few hours after our disappointing 2-2 draw, Freddie Lundberg's first team selection, and it was absolutely awful. Everyone on Twitter is saying Freddie has only had 1 day in the job, but he hasn't. He's been there all season. And he knows which players are good and which players ain't. So that team selection, along with him and the experience of Mertesacker, was absolutely disgusting. We've got some special guests with us tonight. Terry's going to be in control of the comments because I'm not on Wi-Fi and I'm just doing it from my phone. So if my signal goes, then I'm going to have to drop out. So we've got Diesel with us.
How you going, boys? You all right, everyone?
We've got JR with us.
What's up, man?
We've got Kieran with us.
What's up, boys?
Kieran, shout out your channel, bruv.
My YouTube channel, KS1, and my Twitter, Kieran AFTVFC. Also, Kieran Stewart on Instagram. Go and follow.
And we're honoured to have the legendary Gooner Talk, Tom.
You all right, boys? How you doing?
Tom, shout out your channel, brother, and get everyone to give you a follow.
At the Gooner Talk TV on Twitter, and just search up the Gooner Talk, and it'll pop up for you on YouTube.
Go and follow Kieran, and also go and follow Gooner Talk. Both are very class channels. Thoughts on the game today? Let's start with you, Tom. Basically, you look as depressed as I do. Yeah, what's your thoughts on the Emery sacking, Arsenal not preparing, putting Lundberg in charge, and basically he's picked the worst team than what Emery would have picked? Yeah, what's your thoughts on things?
Yeah, it was a really odd one. This is the first game I've sort of been excited about in quite a while, and that's probably a really depressing thing to say, but it's true. I think we can all agree that international break that we had was bliss, not having Arsenal for a weekend. And we've returned, and Emery being sacked was sort of inevitable. I'm glad it's happened. It took too long, in my opinion, but I'm glad it's happened. And then you got this 2-day sort of gap of limbo ahead of this game against Norwich. And in my head, I'm going, right, Ljungberg, he's an attacking guy. He said he's an attacking guy in his philosophy in the under-23s when he was managing them. I'm thinking he's going to go all out for this game and really try and change things. So in my head, I'm thinking, right, Lacazette's going to be up top, Aubameyang left, Pepe right, Ozil in behind him. And we didn't get that. We saw Pepe continue his stint on the bench, which was shocking after he hardly played at all in midweek. And then what happened with with the defence, it's a really weird one because, let's face it, it doesn't matter which one or which combination you pick for this Arsenal team at the back, there's always going to be mistakes, week in, week out. Now, it's a really frustrating result. However, what I said on my show straight after the game is that one thing you could take from this game as one positive was that there was a clear difference in the way we attacked today compared to the last, say, 6 months. There was more free-flowing moves than we've seen after the last 6 months or so, and that is hopefully something that's going to move forward and improve. But in terms of like a 2-day improvement, you're not going to see much at all.
Yeah, but weren't that more down to the fact that we're playing Norwich 19th in the league?
True, but I mean, they've beaten City at their ground, so there's always that to consider. But I think that we have improved in terms of the way we played, but ultimately, I don't think the lineup was the right decision on the day.
Also, everyone in chat, welcome to everyone in chat. Go and hit your like button now, please, and also subscribe if you haven't. Everyone in chat, I'm blind as a bat, and basically, I'm doing this stream from my phone, and even though you're coming up on the screen, I can't see them. All I can see is a blur. So I'm not being rude if I ignore you, and if you want to bring anyone in on the comments, Terry, feel free to do so and read their comments out.
Yeah, no problem.
Kieran.
Yeah.
Bruv, you're usually a positive guy, bruv.
I am, and I'm not too. I mean, it's frustration more than sort of downbeat and disappointed today. The lineup. I mean, all I can think is Ljungberg's pick players he can trust, pick players that can. In the 2 days that he's been there, he's seen that can take instructions from him in a way that he'll be able to put in place on the Sunday. It's I don't know whether it speaks volumes that he's not putting Pepe into the team, and he's putting Saka again, who I think is constantly put in, not under pressure, but it's just he's a 17-year-old kid who's now being regarded as a first team player, and I don't think we're at that point where we should be right now. Like Tom said, I did see a bit more free flowing attack. I'd like to see a bit more pace to it, because I think that Emery sucked the life out of the pace of our team, where we don't, where it's not that intricate football anymore. I mean, I saw it once the other day in the game against Frankfurt, where there was like 4 or 5 quick passes. Then Ozil put a nice through ball to Chambers, but he was offside for. And I was buzzing because I haven't seen that in the 2 years that Emery's been in charge of Arsenal. So that was nice to see. But off today, I can only say, look, I'm going to be one of them guys that says he's been in for 2 days. There's not really much he can do, because I just think the team is just not good enough. I think there's too many areas where it's not good enough. I think our midfield's poor. I don't rate Torreira. I think he's overrated.
Yeah, but he hasn't been in for 2 days, though, Kieran. He's been there since the start of the season, mate.
Yeah,
yeah. You know, he knows the players. He's been under Emery as an assistant coach. He's been there for 6 months. It ain't as if he's just come in from nowhere and don't know who these players are.
Well, if that is the case, and you've got someone who's been working with Emery and he doesn't see anything wrong with what Emery's done, well, then Arsenal have appointed the wrong man. Then that's not Ljungberg's fault. You should have been able to see from the words you've had with Ljungberg what his direction was and where he felt that the team would need fixing up in, and you should have given it to someone else. Like if Ljungberg's coming out with the same things that Emery's saying, and that's the team he's put out, then that's Arsenal's problem. That's the board's problem.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. Basically, the buck stops with Raul, mate. Basically, for me, I think Tom might disagree with me. I think Raul has messed up the recruitment, and I think he's also messed up the manager situation as well now. Because they haven't got a man. They haven't got a man in charge. Emery hasn't won for the last seven games before today. He did have no direction from the start of the season, and they should have had somebody in place. They missed out on Mourinho, even though he wasn't my first choice. Tom, what do you think about that, mate?
Raul isn't without. He's not innocent in this at all, and he has gone about this all wrong completely. I mean, the reason why, it's leaked basically that he wanted to actually extend Unai Emery's contract. Very recently that came out, and that makes no sense whatsoever when you look at the results on the pitch. So I don't think it's blameless. I think that some really, really good points are raised there. And in terms of with Ljungberg, I see what you and Terry are saying about he's been there for 6 months, but we simply don't know how much of an influence he has had on the team. Yes, he would have been given advice and coaching in terms of how he thinks they can improve individual players, but only under the guidance and under what he's allowed to do under Unai Emery. So we don't know how much of an influence Ljungberg has been able to have so far, and we don't know how differently he would have changed things since these last 2 days have come in. From the sounds of what he said, it seems like he wants to change a lot, which I always find an odd thing because it means that he was sitting quietly whilst being assistant manager, which doesn't sit right with me either. But if he does want to change things need to change considerably and rapidly.
But what I will say about the assistant manager thing, I mean, how far do you press when you're an assistant manager? And it's not as if Ljungberg was put in place as assistant manager. He wasn't brought in by Emery. Ljungberg was a part of the Arsenal background staff already, and then he was moved into that position. So how far, as an assistant, surely as an assistant manager, you're a bit more like a caddy. Like you're there to give advice when needed, not to press the manager and say. So, yes, man is quite demeaning word as phrase to say to someone who's an assistant manager, because part of their job is to say yes and maybe the odd bit of advice when it's needed, but other than that, you're there to assist the manager. That's it. What are you expecting from an assistant manager?
Job in football. It is the worst job in football, an assistant manager.
This is what I mean. You've got to sit by and watch some other guy do the job, and you're thinking
of what's going on. You're thinking this is going awfully, and if it was me, I'd be changing things. But you know that you're under this strict sort of oppression that you can't say anything.
Exactly.
You can't go against what this guy who's technically your boss and who's giving all the direction. If you start saying on the side to these players, right, mate, you need to start going down the wing more. You need to be putting in those.
Yeah.
Or you need to have more shots outside the box, and that goes against what the manager's telling these players to do. You're going to get the sack, and it's going to get back to the manager eventually. You can't do that. That's why I have more of a sympathy for Ljungberg's sort of impact over this short period of time.
Right, but Tom, anyone in that sort of situation, once you're given your chance, it's time to shine. So what's held him back?
100%. And I do not.
Why that setup?
I don't apologise for him for that lineup. That lineup was wrong, and there was a lot about it that was wrong. There is something that's underlying and going down with Pepe, though. This Pepe thing is a bit odd, because from what Ljungberg said after the game, what the quotes that came out effectively said that from what he saw in training, he picked the players that he brought on based upon what he'd seen in training from Pepe. Now, we don't know that. And that's a real big concern for me, that if Pepe isn't training hard enough, if there's something going wrong, then maybe, and that ultimately falls back to the people that recruited him. And if they saw what they saw of him last season at Lille, it might have worked in a team that plays on counter-attack and a team that loves playing on the break. But Arsenal aren't like that. Arsenal are a team that have got to take the protagonistic lead in these games, and Pepe maybe not be able to play in that style as much as we hoped he might have done.
Tom, even if we accept that argument, yeah. What Ljungberg's saying, right? So what's his argument of starting Saka above Martinelli then?
Again, I don't know. I can't come up with a reason as to why. The only reason I can think is that he's got more of an affinity with the player because he worked with him in the under-23s. He knows what he's about. He can trust him because he knows what he's seen from him before. I don't agree with that. I think Martinelli is the most mugged-off player in this Arsenal team because he's been putting in the work. He's been busting a gut every single minute that he's been on that pitch, and he's not been rewarded for it. And for me, that's a huge oversight on a player, and hopefully we can see him get more minutes.
Do you know what's really worrying for me is the fact what Josh Kroenke come out and said the other day in his interview is that obviously they've got every confidence in Freddie and that they're not going to rush to get a manager in. Now, after seeing today's lineup, that's frightening me. No disrespect to Freddie. I love him as a player. He's one of my all-time favourites. But as a manager or interim manager, whatever you want to call it, after today's lineup, and if that's what we're saying, that he thought that these players today were the best in training, then we've got a big problem. We have got a bigger problem than what I originally thought we did have, to be honest.
Yeah. But what did you think was the original problem, Tel?
Sorry?
What did you think was the original problem?
The original problem for me was the manager to start off with. We've got rid of the manager, and now we've got Freddie Ljungberg in, and after today's team lineup, he's picked, in my eyes, at least 5 players that should never, ever wear the Arsenal shirt in the first place. Never, ever, ever wear the Arsenal shirt. They are not good enough to play in the Premiership. It's as simple and easy as that. I don't care what.
You know what, Terry. People. Amu's one of them. I keep jumping in and out of the comments, right? So whenever I'm in the comments, I can't see you lot. I keep jumping in and out. Amu's saying, right? People passing judgment over Ljungberg on one training session, right? Okay, let's have one training session. How the team set up. I've never had a training session at Arsenal. I've never coached these players. I could tell you that team selection was wrong. I've never coached them. I don't know them. But I could tell you a better starting lineup than that and how they should play. So that's a load of rubbish.
Yeah. Some people don't train well, but when it comes to game day, they go all out.
But even down to team selection, mate, it doesn't matter how many training sessions you take. It doesn't matter how many training sessions you take. That team selection was absolutely disgusting.
Listen, at the start of it, right, when you look at it, Kosniak should never be in our team anymore. I don't care what anyone says. He can't play left back. Why on earth we try and play him there, I do not know. He's more of a left winger for me. He's much better going forward than what he is being at the back and defending. David Luiz, I've said it loads of times, he's an old age pensioner. I don't know why on earth any team would want him in their team. I don't understand it. Any manager. You got who was the other one?
Mustafi. Oh my God! I mean, he should have went 2 or 3 seasons ago. It's ridiculous, right?
I mean,
You got Xhaka, who disrespects our club, does whatever the bloody hell he likes, tells fans and kids to F off,
Walks
throws
right
his
back in
on
the
the
squad.
floor, throws his armband on the floor, and yet you still got managers that will play him. I don't understand it. It's a disgrace, and this is what our club is coming down to.
Zeki turned around. Zeki Hassan has turned around and said that team selection was great. If that team selection was great, would have won the game, mate. That makes sense.
Flo, chat here, Sonny, from Flo again. He's paid $22.99. He's put, lads, Freddie isn't going to be the coach. Relax. Arsenal need to get someone like Allegri who manages big teams and won with them both. Also manage big players and will be respected. Arteta is a no.
Yeah, this talk of Allegri, like what has made anyone think that Allegri is going to come to our club? There's been no noise whatsoever that has made me think that Allegri is going to come. So I just feel like we need to get off of this Allegri. We've been like trying to woo the geezer for the last 2.5, 3 seasons, and everything he says shouts, I want the club to do this. I want the right money. I want the transfers that I'm going to get. I want the coaching staff that I want. And that's none of that is what we're going to do. We aren't going to go and break. Wasn't it Allegri that paid 70 million for a fucking 30-year-old Higuain? You think Arsenal are going to pay that? You must be fucking mental.
Sam Green was just had a question. Yeah, he said if Arteta came in and did the same thing as the interim manager, would Terry and Sonny be saying the same thing?
Of course they would.
Hang on. He said, would one game be enough to give a definitive verdict? Sam, the difference is if Arteta came in, it wouldn't be the interim manager, right? And you give him more than one game because the whole point of the interim manager is you want quick change. You don't go back and pick the same rubbish which never convinced us last season and the season before. That doesn't work. And also, if they had the new manager came in, what you'd also do, you would back him, but you won't back a caretaker manager because you won't give him no funds in the transfer window. So it's a totally different scenario.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Sonny. But I just want to all these people that want Allegri in, right? I've not got a problem with that. If he comes in, that's fine. Right? I've not got a problem with that. But do you really believe that he would have played half of them players that was in that team today? Anyone on the panel, do you believe that?
No. But did he have any other choice? Unless he's going to go out.
I'd rather put a youth team out than some of them players, Kieran, because they're a joke.
Yeah,
they're a joke.
Joe, I'd rather play Zach Medley in the reserves in the other 23s than Lewis.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, though, Terry. It's like I said to you. It doesn't matter whether it's Allegri. For me, it's got that far. These are bang average players who are on a really good wedge. Right? They're on a lot of money here, right? And for me, it's got to that point now. It doesn't matter who the manager is. These players are not good enough. Someone just said it in the comments.
Diesel. We can't keep saying that. We said the same thing about Wenger's players. We said the same thing about Wenger's players that they're bang average on too much money. Now we've cleaned out all of Wenger's players and we've got new players. And now we're saying the same thing. They're bang average on too much money. What the hell are the recruitment team doing at Arsenal? And if they're not doing the right job, get them the fuck out of the club.
But
simple as that.
A lot of the senior players who are looked at as senior are still here, who are Wenger's players.
But
we have no spine.
Very influential.
We have no spine.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not just about the players. Right, there is something poisonous. Right, there is a mentality. Listen, we all wanted Emery out, right? And I said on the last podcast, there are problems at Arsenal that were there long before Emery came. Right, there is something there.
You're wrong, Diesel. You're wrong. I'll tell you why. It's not a spine, right? That spine of the team is not Wenger's players. Leno is not a Wenger player. Louise is not a Wenger player. Socrates is not a Wenger player. Lucas Torreira is not a Wenger player. Who else is there? Who else is midfield? Guendouzi is not a Wenger player. Right, Lacazette and Aubameyang are Wenger players. It's not Wenger's spine anymore.
Xhaka, Ozil, right? If we're talking about the 5 apparent captains here, yeah, they are.
But I don't.
The senior players are Wenger's players.
I don't think Ozil was bad today. I don't think Xhaka was bad today.
Oh, come on. Ozil was rubbish today, mate. He was rubbish.
I don't think he was that bad. I don't think Xhaka was bad today. I don't think Xhaka was bad at all today.
Shaka was a disgrace again today, Kieran. Even in all the comments on the live that we was having, there was only like 2 comments that were sticking up.
Yeah, but I don't listen to the comment section, mate. They're fucking. You got some comments that are fucking brilliant. You got some comments that are absolute trash. I don't live my life by a fucking comment section. I watched the game. I don't think Chelsea was bad. Right. Xhaka was bad. I think Xhaka gets harshly criticised because of the way he plays. It's got nothing to do with people don't like the way he plays, but the manager still picks him. Well,
I just want to ask you guys, who was the worst player on the pitch today? For me, it was Joe Willock.
Joe Willock, yeah.
But
Joe Willock, yeah. He was.
Tom, what do you reckon?
Was so
close between him and I didn't feel much for Chambers today at all. As
Chambers was sloppy.
Sloppy. Yeah. That's the thing. The thing with if you play Chambers at right back and then you put Mustafi next to him, it's a disaster waiting to happen because you're asking Chambers to play a role where he's going to advance so far up that right hand side, and he simply doesn't have the same or anywhere near the pace that Bellerin has to get back when he needs to. Yep. He's caught out of position so many times, and because Xhaka's on that side, that means Xhaka's then caught in 2 minds about whether he needs to drop back in or push into the middle or what he needs to do in that role. But Chambers was caught out so much. He's a centre back. He's not a right back. I know we signed him as a right back when he was at Southampton, but that when he was younger and he was more impressionable at that time, and he was really trying to show. And he did a lot of good stuff at Southampton at right back. But he's coming to this Arsenal side. It's a different kettle of fish. He plays as a centre back better because that's where his role is better. And he played at CDM for Fulham last season and had a player of the season there. So he's not a right back. And if you play him there, which. Are you boys even sure if Maitland-Niles is injured? Because if he's not, I'm struggling to work out why you would play someone who's as slow as Chambers at right back.
Because Maitland-Niles is shit at right back. And, I'm trying not to be harsh on Maitland-Niles because there is a player in there, but he's a player that should be mid-table below. He's not an Arsenal player, man. Like he's too casual. I'm not saying he's shit. I'm just saying he's not good enough for us.
But Kieran, apparently, they come out saying that he's been poor in training, and Freddie actually gave him a rollicking a few weeks ago.
But he's poor in training. He's poor on the pitch. I didn't need to see him in training to tell you he's not good enough to be playing at Arsenal.
No, exactly. So anyone who says why is he not playing? Well, there's your reason. He shouldn't be playing.
Here's another comment from Lucas Torreira. He's put Xhaka is too slow, too immobilised. Unintelligent, clumsy, disrespectful to the fans, and doesn't do anything except sometimes play a decent long ball over the top.
I mean, can I just take an issue?
Called himself Torreira, who's bog average.
Can I take issue with Stan the man's comments? Stan, you know I love you, mate, right? You know, Stan. Why wait to see what he does on Thursday when we saw what he done today, and he's cost us 2 more points. He's cost us 2 points today. Lundberg. So what difference it make what he does on Thursday?
Can I just add to that, Sonny, really and all? Because obviously at the start of the season, when there was only a few of us, me, yourself, a couple of others, that were saying that Emery should go, and everyone kept saying, give him time, wait until the other players back, blah, blah, blah. Now we've waited 14, 15 games to get rid of Emery. Look what's happened. We're basically a relegation side. We're in a relegation battle. How long do you want to give Lundberg before we are actually relegated? I don't understand this.
The time is now. It's not bad losing the game. It's not that bad losing the game. But when you choose a team like that and you lose, and then you deserve all the criticism. So people should just keep quiet and let us talk.
I think people need to realise the one thing we haven't got at the moment is time. We haven't got time. Exactly. We haven't got it. Right? The ramifications of if we miss out on the top 4 are the certain calibre of players that we can attract, and also Lacazette, Aubameyang, they'll be gone.
But mate, start again because we ain't getting top 4. Like seriously,
I would be happy to start again, Kieran. But knowing this board, I can see Lundberg being here until the end of the season. You know why?
That's what I think is going to happen.
Cheap option, cheap.
Because that's what I honestly think is going to happen. Because I honestly worry more us running around and trying to get a quick fix. That's what I worry more about, is us trying to get in the next someone who's won't be as much compensation here and halfway through the season. Like I worry about that because I have no faith in what the board is going to bring in at the end of the day, unless it falls into their lap. Like literally, Brendan Rodgers has to turn around, knock on the door, and say, "I'll take the job" before they go and appoint him.
Does anyone know why Oldham weren't in the team on the squad?
Bellerin?
That's the same question why he's not been in the squad for however long.
Bellerin either, right?
There's nothing on the Arsenal website saying that he's injured or anything.
I mean, we can't exactly say that Holding's been amazing this season.
Carry on, boys. A minute.
I think that Holding's has struggled since coming back from his injury this season, but based on what the options that we had available to us, I was surprised that Mustafi did start. I tweeted out before the game that when he was selected, you could look at a lot of the games that he's played this season, and you could say that arguably he's been performing as one of our better centre backs in comparison to the ones that we've been playing.
In Europe,
the difference is though, and I realised it halfway through the game, and I tweeted out and I said, "Look, I'm going to be honest. When I tweeted out at the start of the game, I was wrong, and I'll hold my hands up because I thought that Mustafi maybe had earned his position there more than the others because of how poor that the others have been. But when he started playing, everything sort of flooded back to me like, oh, this is Mustafi. And
that's the thing with Mustafi. Mustafi can fool you because I've seen games where Mustafi's been a 7 and then gives away a free kick which leads to a goal and then fucking tries to do a 20-yard sliding tackle on someone and misses them completely. And that's Mustafi, and that's the problem. That's why you can't have him in your team at all because you know there's 2 mistakes in him every game without a doubt. So that's the reason. So looking at him in training, thinking, "Oh, do you know what? He puts in a shift there. He throws his body on." I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my defenders on the floor. That's no good. For me. When I see a defender on the floor, that means that's the last hope. That's the last ditch, and that is his game. And if you're playing him next to Socrates, that's what Socrates is. Socrates, for me, is a third choice centre back as well. You bring him in against the likes of Stoke and Burnley and them sorts of teams. Anyone else, you keep him in. You keep him locked away in a cage, mate, because he's there. He's that kind of defender.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what? Another stupid tweet I saw today, right? Well, it wasn't a stupid tweet. It was a tweet I elaborated on. Basically, we've gone from title winners to title contenders to guaranteed top 4 to contention for the top 4 to out of the top 4 with no chance in hope in hell, and now we've gone to even out of the top 6 places. How further is this Arsenal football club going to drop?
To be honest, Sonny, I think a season out of Europe would do us good because it's too much. It's too much. If we have this one focus, maybe the FA Cup, some of the League Cups here, we'll be able to focus more on that. Do you know how much that's going to cost them? Do you know how much that will cost them, even if they're not in the Europa League? Oh yeah, but then that's their own doing.
Sonny, come on, look, right? Be real, right? These are multi-billionaires. If all the fans are saying it's going to cost them 45 million, right? If we don't get there, do you honestly think, right? They're bothered.
Of course, they're bothered.
It's like a couple of quid to me and you. They're not bothered.
They're not bothered. That's the revenue. That's the revenue.
To try and save this season. No.
Part of
we are a toy to them. That is it.
Hold up.
Come on, guys.
Go back to the question what Sonny just asked. How much further are we going to fall behind? Be honest now, right? We go round on the panel. Be honest. When do you think our next win is coming? Be honest. Go on,
after the 2 big games.
We got Brighton next, and then we've got West Ham, who just beat Chelsea 2-0 at their ground, and then we've got the big 3. So when do you think our win is coming? Go on, Diesel.
I don't think it'll be this year. I think it'll be next year.
All right,
I look at Brighton at home, and normally, right, you look at that and think that is a banker. Brighton are looking at that game thinking, finally, we can get 3 points here. That is how far we've dropped. So when you're telling me about they care about, no, they don't. They don't. We are a laughing stock at the moment.
Tom, what do Arsenal need to do to turn this around? If you was Freddie Lundberg, right, what would you do?
Oh wow! I mean, I'd resign so we can bring someone else in of a proper caliber. To be honest, but that's just where my head's at.
Very good answer.
I just think.
Okay, so say Freddie's resigned. Tom, you're now the Arsenal manager. What would you do?
Well, I think the boys have raised a few points about the players that need to come in and players that need to leave. Terry's raised some good points about players that shouldn't be starting. I think that we thrive in a system that utilises the wings. And so therefore, if we continue to play such a narrow system, we're not going to use that to the best of our advantage. If Bellerin's fit, he has to come back in. If Kieran Tierney's fit, he has to come back in. The centre-back situation, I mean, for me, I can't see Louise and Socrates improving, but I can see Chambers and Holding improving as players because they're still young.
So I'd stick. Sorry.
He's honestly, mate. If you watch him in the youth side, if you watch what he's done, he isn't good enough yet. He really isn't. He's so raw. He's so raw.
He get injured like nearly every game he plays. I've been told.
Bad injury as well. I don't like it when some fans fall into that trap, and I'm not saying you have, Kieran, at all. I'm just saying that I don't like it when some fans fall into that trap of seeing someone who's not played for a while, and then we see them, we're like, oh, let's try that. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. A little bit.
I get that. I get that because I felt that a lot of people were on Bellerin's back over the last year or so, year and a half, saying he's not good enough. And as soon as he's been out for however long, it's like, wait until we've got Bellerin back. And I was like, you don't even rate him anyway. So what are you talking about? I only say that about Mastropanov is because he looked encouraging towards the end of, it was more so Wenger.
Mavropanos and Socrates combined a kebab meat, bruv. They're kebab meat.
I think when you look at
last time we got a red card.
Yeah, exactly. He did.
Last game of the season, was it?
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was the last game. It was like it might have been the last game, but yeah, you got a red card towards the end of Wenger's, something like that. But when you're looking at what we actually need to do, we need to play with a much more solid midfield. Our midfield is arguably up there as worse as our defense right now. There's no one in that midfield that's going to take Ernest in that game. There's no one's going to take the game by the scruff of the neck and take us forward. There really isn't. We need someone who's going to drive that ball forwards. We need someone, like, to be honest, I really thought that Ceballos was going to be that guy when he signed at the start of the season. He loves being on the ball. He loves taking the ball forward. He loves being confident. And as soon as he got into Emery's system, the life was sucked out of that Spaniards game. I'm hoping now that when he returns from injury, which could still be a little bit longer, he comes back in and he's the shining light in our midfield. Guendouzi's dropped off a bit of a cliff since his sort of early season burst, and that's completely made the fans get on his back a lot. Xhaka is never going to win the fans back, and even though, as I agree with Kieran, I didn't think he was too bad today, I think that he's never going to have that same confidence or backing from the fans after what happened. The midfield is a huge issue, but we need to play with wingers. We have to play with a system which supports people. I honestly don't think that you can play Lacazette and Aubameyang together. I genuinely don't think you can play those two.
I don't think you can because I think they're a very similar type player. I think that Lacazette's adjusted his game to play with Aubameyang because he's having to be less selfless. But Lacazette's gone.
Sorry, mate. Let me just get this super chat on before it runs out, mate. Flo, I think you've got more money than sense, mate. To be honest, you keep giving us. I think you should try and buy Arsenal Football Club for us, mate.
Flo goes 160 quid yesterday.
Sonny, she did a good job again. Clean as a whistle, blood. Next win, we'll be the next game against Brighton. P.S. You can afford a green screen now.
Flo, bruv. Do you know what? If I ever got a green screen, right, and I was talking about Arsenal, I won't be showing the current Arsenal team on it. I'll be showing the Invincibles.
You don't make the
Lucas Torreira's joined us in this evening.
I'll tell you what we're doing now, right? What we do is we normally do the player ratings, right? But the players were crap today, right? So what I want to do
let's rate them. What
I want to do instead is go through the players and let's say if we would keep or get rid of them instead.
I'll do that.
I'll go on then.
Right, so let's go. Right, everyone in the comments. Leno.
Keep.
Diesel, Leno.
Keep. On the picture.
Keep.
Keep. Kieran, Tom.
Keep.
I'm waiting for Sonny.
JR.
Hey, who? That's a keep.
Yeah, Sonny.
Leno had a good game today. That man match today.
Yeah, that hurt him.
I also was like, no, we're not doing player ratings. We're doing keep or get rid of in the comments. Load of people are saying keep. Right, now let's go on to Chambers. Diesel.
Get rid.
Yeah.
Kieran.
I like Chambers. I'll keep him, but you've got to play him in his position. You've got to play him as a centre-back.
Tom.
Make a cheeky 15 mil off him, get rid.
What's 15 mil? Fucking hell, it's lunch money.
I'll keep him, but only as a squad player. Because he plays in the
squad player, yeah?
Send him to Charlton.
Charlton make our players worldies.
I know, innit? Yeah.
Coquelin, Son.
I will keep interested in a squad player at the moment and give him one more chance. Right, who's next?
Louise.
Louise. Right, go on in. Diesel.
Get rid of him for free.
Kieran.
Right, Jamie Redknapp, Louise is out, mate. Get rid.
Tom.
Yeah, get rid.
Get rid one time. Out.
Sonny.
Wouldn't put him in the AFTV team, mate.
You wouldn't get in there.
I seriously would be looking for an old AP home for him because that's where he should be in my eyes. He's dead in football now. Who was next? Who played next to him?
Mustafi,
Diesel.
Unanimous. We know where.
Come on,
Next.
All right, Kosniak, left back.
Yeah.
Out. Kieran.
Yeah, I don't think that Kolasinac is a bad player. I just don't think he fits into any system we play. So there's no point in having a wing back in our team when we play fullbacks. So I'd have to get rid.
Tom.
Yeah, Kieran spot on. He was good at Schalke, but nah, not us.
I'll get rid as well.
Sonny.
I'll take away his work permit and get him to go work in the car wash somewhere.
Get him in the MMA, mate. Fucking
yeah, exactly. Yeah, security. Right, Shaka. Diesel.
Right, listen. Right, can I just say one thing about Xhaka? Because I don't think anyone's mentioned it, not on AFTV or any channel. The one thing that's upset me, right, with Lundberg, right, is he's an invincible. He's a legend. He played with proper players, proper captains, right. So he should know what it means to play for this club. To put Xhaka in today for me is disgusting.
Yeah,
you know, and that's just my view. Xhaka out, bin him in January.
Kieran
should not play for the club ever again.
Yeah, but the only thing I'd say, is like, okay, if that's the case, then who are you putting in? You're biting your nose off to spite your face. Then you've not got anyone that you can bring in till January.
Someone done that to you in real life. Would you have him better as a mate? No, you wouldn't. Come on.
What? Yeah, but
Kieran, you're going off topic, guys. You're going off topic. Keep the topic.
Keep or bin.
I'm keeping him.
Oh, okay, Tom.
Bin.
JR.
Bin.
Sonny.
I'll get him an SIA badge. I'll stick him on the door in the busiest club what's got the most fights in London. If the geezer's a doorman, he's not a footballer.
I'd want to put him in with Conor McGregor so we could absolutely annihilate him and just get rid of him straight away because he's an absolute cock, the geezer. I don't care. I don't like him. So that's my opinion. Who was next? Guendouzi. Diesel.
Keep.
Kieran.
Keep him, but people need to stop blowing smoke up his arsehole, mate. But Guendouzi's a prospect. He's not the done finished job. If he was in a decent team, it'd be a rotation.
Yeah, Tom.
Keep.
JR.
Bin, not a fan one bit.
Sonny.
I'll stick him in a shampoo commercial and use him as a voiceover for French porn films or something. I don't know.
I would keep as a squad player at the moment, like JR. I would just keep him as a squad player at the moment. He shouldn't be in the team. He should be learning his trade still. Aubameyang. Willock. Diesel.
Keep.
Another squad player for me.
Tom.
Keep.
Yeah, keep as well. Squad player off the bench.
Sonny.
Squad player.
Yeah, squad player for me. Aubameyang. Diesel.
Oh,
come on!
If we,
you're taking a piss.
No, but listen, I only say this right because I think he's going to go next year, and based on that, if we get 70 million, I'd take it.
How long has he got left on his contract?
A year.
2 years.
He's got a year. Was it 2
At
years?
the end of the season, it will be a year.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's 2 years now.
We ain't getting 70 mil for him. If that's the case, we're getting 30 at best.
Remember when Raul said no one's going to go past 2 years anymore?
Yeah,
exactly.
What's happening?
Why isn't he signed?
Bin or keep?
I'll keep Aubameyang.
Tom.
Keep.
Keep.
Sonny.
You know what? I'll only sell him. Obviously, I want to keep him, but I'd only sell him if the Conkies don't back us, and then we have to find some money from somewhere.
I'll keep him.
It's like selling your car. It's like selling your car when you don't want to sell it.
Yeah. I would keep him. I think without his goals, we would definitely be bottom of the league right now. So it's without him, we're nothing at the moment. So Lacazette, Diesel,
keep.
Kieran,
I'd sell Lacazette, but only because I think the money that we get for Lacazette could be spent on a player that suits our system, suits someone to play up top with Aubameyang or whatever.
Okay, Tom.
I'd be very tempted to sell him as well, to allow possibly Martinelli or Nketiah to get more chances, and we can make money and spend it better elsewhere.
Okay, I forgot about Nketiah.
JR,
I'll keep.
Sonny.
He's not a 20 goal striker, is he? But we can't sell our best players. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We don't play him.
Sorry,
we don't play him. And he came to play today. He was trash. I'm not saying he's trash, but I'm saying we don't play him because he can't play up top in a two with Aubameyang.
Sorry, Tom. I know Nketiah's doing all right, but if he comes back, do you think he'll carry on in the same form he's in?
It's a good question. I just think that he's not really getting the chance at Leeds, but when he has been given the chance, he's been scoring. And I know he hasn't for a little
That's
bit.
surprising. He keeps scoring, and they don't start him.
He has a lot of faith in Bamford.
It's because they play the one up top, and you've got. It's like us playing Lacazette on the one up top. It's not going to happen. So if you've got to play with a target man, it's the Championship. So
should I tell you who we miss? Shall I tell you who we miss? We miss Danny Welbeck. We miss Danny Welbeck. Apart from Alexis, definitely, but we miss Danny Welbeck, even though he was crap. We miss Mkhitaryan, even though he was crap. We miss Iwobi. We miss Iwobi, even though he's crap. I tell you something. All three of them are better than what we got.
We don't miss Mkhitaryan, yeah. For all his running around and his busyness, he had no end products and he couldn't finish. Like
I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying he's good. All I'm saying is our squad are weaker.
Oh, he was.
Our squad is weaker. Our squad is weaker, but our squad is weaker from many players that we've sold. Many.
What about Jan Saka? Diesel.
I'll keep Saka. I rate Saka. All I'm saying on Saka is he's a 7-year-old kid, and I don't think he should be one of the first names on the team sheet, or even in and around it. He should be in and out. It should be.
Yeah, he should be. He should be in between the under 21s and on the bench.
It's madness that we're relying on a 17-year-old. It's madness.
I absolutely love the confidence, but he's lost a bit of that.
It's gonna get sucked out of him because we're not taking him out of the limelight. It's gonna get to a point where the fans are turning around saying he needs to be doing this, he needs to be finishing. If he's wearing the shirt, he's got to be the first team. And once it gets to that, for a semi, that's too much. You've got to take him out of the limelight.
Joe, I had a lot of high hopes for Saka. He's really disappointed me, I must admit.
There we go. There's one already.
What didn't hear what you said. In or bin?
In.
Tom?
Keep.
Sonny?
I'll keep him, but is he ever going to make the grade? Is Reece Nelson ever going to make the grade? Is Joe Willett ever going to make the grade? Has Aizy Maitland-Niles made the grade? Let's get it right. Our youth team have been shit. I'm sorry, but they have.
Yeah, I would keep him as a squad player and all. Right, let's get on to the subs. Torreira, Diesel.
No, go. Sell him. He doesn't want to be here. So if you don't want to be here, as far as I'm concerned, go and do one.
Kieran?
Gone. He don't want to be here. I think he's overrated. I think he's overrated.
Tom?
I keep him based on the fact that I know what he's capable of in the right system, and I'm praying that our new coach plays that system that suits him. But Diesel makes a good point. If he doesn't want to be here, then he can sling one.
Yeah. Jay?
I'll get rid of him. He's easily replaceable, so yeah.
Sonny?
Well, our younger viewers might not appreciate this, but look up on YouTube. I'll stick a white suit on him when I send him to Fantasy Island.
My views on Torreira is exactly the same as Tom's. Exactly the same.
Yeah, good enough, Terry. Yeah, good enough.
Pepe. Diesel.
Come on.
Yeah, I know, but
Pepe.
he was up, wasn't he? Keep
Pepe,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, keep.
Kieran.
I do not know how good this geezer is yet. So I don't even know what I meant to say. I've not seen anything from him. And then when he has opportunities to play, he hasn't played. So I can't even say.
Tom.
Keep.
JR.
Keep.
Sonny.
He's not even here yet, is he?
Thank you. Thank you.
He's not even here yet. Yeah, he hasn't even arrived. They've sent to someone. They've sent to someone who looks like him, but it ain't him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't unpacked his suitcase yet. He's still just living out of it. Like, it's madness. It's madness.
He makes Savino look like Eddie Nazard.
There's a big problem when you haven't played in the game before, and in a European Cup tie where you only need a point. There's no pressure on the team, and he's on the bench. Why is he on the bench against Frankfurt the other day? That's madness. How lack of effort are you putting in training to show that you want to play if you can't even get on against Frankfurt?
How many shit games are you going to throw this geezer into, right? Like a Europa League game or a Carabao Cup game. You say it's a perfect game for him, and still he don't do soddle. He don't do soddle.
We've got just under 300 viewers, 297. Everyone, please hit that like button. Smash it, please. What do you want to talk about now? Managers?
Basically, how do we set up? What is our best 11? I mean, how do we set up? How do we get the best out of these players?
Listen, right? I was totally shocked today. As I said, you know what I mean? I was optimistic during the week when Emery went. I was overjoyed. You know what I mean? I popped the old popper and everything. Do you know what I mean? Online and everything. I was really optimistic with Lundberg. And obviously, as we've all said, he was in the Invincibles. He's played with fantastic players, and he played in the 4-4-2. Now, why didn't he do that today? Why didn't he play like Tom was saying earlier, like we were saying earlier on Sonny and Chris, who was on? Why didn't he play with winners? I just don't understand it.
I think it was just, I don't know what it is. It's like he was trying to be too smart or something. I mean,
look, the focus has now got to change. The focus has got to change, right? We've got rid of Emery, right? And now it's got to be the board. It really has to be the board now. January is approaching, right? And it really has to be the board to bring in some quality, because at the end of the day, the defence is not good enough. The midfield is not good enough. This team needs some major investment now, or we are going to end up getting relegated. I'm telling you, it is bad. If we lose a bad man next year, right, and this team do not strengthen, we are going down. We are going down like the fucking Titanic.
I've been saying it's the board for time. For time.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about time people really need to start renting conkies, and Raul is getting away with fucking murder. He's getting away with fucking murder, Raul.
Sonny, he wanted to give Emery a contract extension.
Exactly, he's getting away with murder, the geezer. Geezer's a fraud. It's not even him. It's just a man with a wig. It's not him.
Mm.
You know, if that's what you take from Barcelona, mate, if that's your idea, you brought that mindset from Barcelona, you piss off back there.
Listen,
it's the board, and I tell you what, that board owe Arsene Wenger, right, a hell of a lot, because tell you what a job he did in masking all the trouble. Or, you know, he was a screen for him, wasn't he? Now we're seeing
Diesel.
He had to go anyway. He had to go. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
No, Diesel. It's not that. It's not that. It's that. It's like
poisoning him.
It's that. It's this whole. Because the thing is, yeah, and this used to fucking piss me off, yeah, because Wenger got absolutely slated, yeah, for being the smokescreen for them, for turning around when they weren't giving money, and him saying nothing. People saying, "Oh, if it's the board, he needs to out the board." Like, how do you think managers are gonna? Pochettino done it, and as soon as shit went bad, he got binned. Because whenever he weren't getting his own way, he'd come out and say, I'm just a coach, I'm not the manager. I don't buy a player. So this is the manager signaling to the fans that I'm not happy with what's going on. Fans love that. Ooh, fucking yeah, the managers. As soon as shit goes wrong, bang, out. No, you can't can't have it both ways. You can't have it where the manager's going to fucking tell you everything and tell you it ain't great by the ball and he's going to be in his job for a while. It doesn't work.
Yeah, this is a good question. It's a good question from the Joker. Is it the Joker? No, I'm not sure who asked this question actually. Actually, it's Rico who asked this question. Where would Arsenal need to be at the table for the Cronkies to actually set up and go?
I don't think they could give a shit. I don't think they care if we was in the second division. I really don't think they care.
No, I think
he does.
If you listen to all the Americans that support these American teams out in America, they say exactly the same thing.
Matt Howes, if you mention DT coming on this show again in your comments, I'll ban you for life, bruv. Done. You know I don't like the geezer. Don't mention him, not even in the comments. I'll ban you for life off every single platform. So it's up to you. Last warning.
Terry, I really do think Kroenke cares, yeah? Because if you look at the financial statements that's come over the years, before he was 100% owner, he made 130 million profit every single year for 15 years. This was before he was 100% owner. Now, he never touched that money. That money's just sitting there. But what he has done is he's borrowed against Arsenal. So the more Arsenal's worth, the more he can take out and fund his other shit. So he really needs this to work. So he really does care about Arsenal, trust me.
No, he does. But the way the Premiership is now, being lower down the table isn't really the be all and end all. The money you get from being in the Premiership is still a massive amount, and it will only grow. So I don't think it's a case of if we drop out of Europe, it would be shit. But I still can't see him turning around and walking away.
I hear what you're saying about that money, that TV money that comes in, but you're missing out on generational wealth as well. So all these kids coming up are not going to choose Arsenal anymore unless their dad's.
No, I get that.
We're missing out on all that commercial money.
100%, because we've lost fans to Liverpool, we've lost fans to Man City.
Do you know what you lot sound like? Do you know what you lot? I'll tell you what you lot sound like, JR and Kieran, right? You sound like them global protesters, right? So let's stop using plastic because generations to come, the environment's gonna be worse. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less about the generations of Arsenal fans.
Well, you need to.
I care about my generation. I care about my generation. When I'm dead and buried, mate. When I'm dead and buried, I won't care what happens to Arsenal. When I'm dead and buried, I won't care what happens to Arsenal, bruv. I care about now. At the end of the day, right, Tom, what do we need to do? We had the We Care Do You campaign, right? It's about time that something started again. What do we need to do? Are we going to wait till January again for inactivity and nothing to happen? When are we? I'm personally not going to go another game this season. I ain't going.
Before I answer that, Sonny, what do you want? Like, what is it you specifically want to happen? Like, say the Cronkies go, okay, and they're gone. So a new consortium comes in. What do you want to happen? Because before I can answer that, I'd want to know more about what you want to happen.
Tom, I want Arsenal to act like a top club, Tom. To act like a top club, you need to buy top players.
Okay.
As well as bringing the youth.
As well as playing great football.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Go on.
Say you are the guy. I'm giving you billions, right? And I don't trust you to spend it, but I'm giving you billions, and I'm saying that you're going to be majority shareholder of Arsenal. What do you do within the restrictions that are now around clubs these days that's going to take Arsenal to the next level?
But Tom, why are we the only club that worry about that?
Mate, forget Arsenal.
Worry about it. We're the only team that I know that worries about this FFP crap.
Look, Tom, I'll tell you who's the best example of proving that point wrong, and it's Chelsea this season. They had couldn't make any signings, couldn't do nothing. But they brought a coach in that knew how to use the players in the right way, play the right system, and get the best out of those players.
Out on loan, Tom. They're 60 players out on loan.
You do not need to spend absolutely millions. You need to buy correctly. You need to buy the right players and buy the right. You look at this season.
I totally agree with what you're saying there, Tom. I totally agree with what you're saying. But at the moment, we need to spend millions to get this team back up to where it is first.
I don't think we do, mate. I genuinely don't think we need. we need to lose. Sorry, Kieran. We need to lose the arrogance of a lot of fans. We need to lose the arrogance of turning our back at players like you. And people will laugh, and if you laugh at it, it's because you can't get out of that mindset. But we were offered Johnny Evans for £10 million, right? Johnny Evans has transformed into a great team. They signed Soyuncu for £7 million from Freiburg. What a fantastic signing! Like, we need to stop being so arrogant. Yeah, we can spend 72 million on Pepe. Great. And to be honest, I was very happy when he signed because he absolutely killed it for Lille last season. Difference is, though, is that I was quite naive when we signed Pepe because when I actually looked at the system that Lille played under their manager, it's totally different. Pepe doesn't suit the system. He's great on the counter. He's great hitting on the break. And when he joined, the media staff asked him, they said, "What type of player are you?" He says, "I'm fast." Well, that's great, but we don't need a player that's fast. We need a player that can get out of tight situations, can pass the ball around the box really well and find that killer ball. And ultimately, when the chance comes, take it. And he hasn't been that player for us this season.
Tom, excellent observations, right? You're 100% spot on in what you're saying, right? But in order to do what you've said, we need to have at least 7 players who are of a decent level. We haven't got that.
Yeah,
if you go through the whole Arsenal squad, you can only name 3 players in the whole squad you say would get in the same week in, week out.
Okay.
Right, we need at least 7.
Can I just?
Yeah, go
sorry.
On.
Can I just say something there? I mean, I totally agree with you there, and on everything you said there, Tom. But when you look at even under Wenger, when he was, you can say it was Wenger, you can say it was the board. I don't know. But how many players, great players, have we missed out on that wouldn't have cost that much money?
A lot.
So why didn't we do it then? That's what I'm saying. It's
I will say.
Sorry, Kieran. Just before you say that, all I want to say, when we're Arsenal Football Club, right? This is arrogance, Tom. I must admit, it is arrogance, yeah. But if we're Arsenal Football Club and we can't go to Watford and get Decore, there's got to be something wrong, mate. Seriously.
No, they're the sort of signs we should be making. But
what about the Luis Suarez one? The Luis Suarez, when we only put in a bid of £1, basically.
Yeah, but
this is ridiculous.
But who is that? Who is that? Because I know a lot of people say it's Wenger, but the last time I checked, managers don't go around offering fucking piss take kind of bids. That seems like some of the
I totally agree with what you're saying there. I totally agree with what you're saying there, right? But if I was a manager and my board done that and I was a manager, I would turn around to my board and say, I'm leaving now. You're not embarrassing me.
He was involved 100%.
And then turning around and saying it's my fault. That's what I'm saying. If I was Wenger and the board said, well, you're taking the flak for this, I would turn around to the board and say, well, then sack me now. Because I'm not saying that
they didn't take the flak for it. They didn't. And we've heard from other things where is it Dick Law? One of the reasons why he went was because he was fucking around with shit, and there was chances where he nearly missed out on the Aubameyang deal because he missed the plane and shit like that. But I will say, I second what Tom was saying. I think there was a stage where Arsenal were buying a lot of players that were unknown, and it would take them a couple of seasons to get into the swing of things.
They're doing it now, Kieran. They're doing it now. They're doing it now, mate. They're doing it now.
No, but wait, Sonny. All of a sudden, that wasn't good enough for us. We had to. We wanted to go and buy the star players, and that's all well and good, but that wasn't ever our thing. Buying these star players,
mate, you're wrong. You're so wrong, mate. You're so wrong.
No, we were, Sonny. We were, because we always used to get the player who, even the likes of Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp, they were stars. But at the time that we bought them, they weren't doing anything at the club.
No, they weren't. Can I just come in on that, right?
And then we got them when they were on their down. That's when we got them. And Johnny Evans and all these other players, and now we're looking at them and thinking,
Kieran, Johnny Evans is not decent. I'm sorry, he's not decent.
Johnny Evans is decent.
One minute. Johnny Evans is not decent. Man United binned him, he's not decent. He's playing decent for Leicester, he's not decent. Let me just say one thing. Let me just say one thing. Right, hang on, let me just finish, right? When we wanted star players, we were fighting for the Premier League. We wanted star players, right? Arsenal are doing exactly what Tom is saying at the moment. We're doing exactly what Tom has said. We went and got Guendouzi from the French second division. We went and got Martinelli from the beach in Brazil, right? we're getting the Willocks and the Nelsons and the Sackers, and we're trying to bring them through. The problem is they're trying to do it all at once. You could not do it all at once.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
Yeah. Hold up, Kieran. JB's made a great comment here. What I'm going to put up, right? And on Friday night when I went out, I was speaking to a Liverpool fan, and he said exactly the same thing. And this is what the comment was, right? If Suarez went to Arsenal that forthcoming season, Arsenal would win the league. Suarez was that good. He proved it during that season when he scored 30 plus goals and went to Barca afterwards. That Liverpool fan said to me, if you would have got Suarez, you would have gone on to win the league another 2 or 3 seasons on a trot.
100%.
Right, so why didn't we go out and do it then? This is what our problem is. This is, you keep saying to us, what do we want as fans? This is what I want. I want us to go out every season like Ferguson did. And even though we won the league, he went out and bought 2 or 3 great players.
He went out, Ferguson every year went out and bought one big signing and then two little ones. That's what you used to do.
That's what we needed, Kieran. He
I know
had
that.
a great team.
I know that.
In there.
I know that, but we're not anywhere near having to buy one. I think
that's why me and Sonny said earlier on that we need to spend millions at the minute.
But, I mean, can you imagine, Kieran, can you imagine now, right? If we had a bad man Lacazette and we had Alexis Sanchez on the right feeding the balls, can you imagine how good we'd be?
Yeah.
The only reason we got a bad man is because we sold Sanchez.
I can't understand the mentality of some of our Arsenal fans that say we can't have it all. What do you mean we can't have it all? Why can City have it all? Why can Liverpool have it all?
Oil merchants in charge.
Why can Leicester have it all at the moment?
Qatari owners, Phil. Qatari. Like there's a country.
Conte is one of the richest men in the world. I keep hearing this. And yet he doesn't put a penny into our club.
Yeah.
His wife owns Walmart. She's also a multi-billionaire. But listen, guys, right? What a lot of the Arsenal fans don't realise is over the years, well, we've had to be very, very patient, right? Yes. We had a man who was here for 22 years, right? And all we got told over the years was project. We're starting a project. Project. All right. When is it going to stop being a project? That's all I hear. It's all we hear.
We left Highbury for that. Apparently, we left Highbury so that once we paid the stadium off, we would be competing with Barcelona or Real Madrid. When does that happen? When does that happen? We left Highbury.
One at a time. Stop jumping in. Tom, go on. What did you say?
I just think that we can go on and talk about the millions and millions and millions need to be spent, and I agree with you. It will take a lot of money to turn around a lot of this. I'm not saying that 10 million signings is going to get us to the title. I don't believe that. And I think the point still stands about certain types of £10 million-ish signings. But the fact is that you can save a lot of money and you don't have to spend loads if you have the right coach that knows the players week in, week out. And that's why this next appointment is arguably the most important appointment in Arsenal's last half century. It genuinely is that important, because if we sign the wrong person again and we get into this sort of era of mediocrity, we're going to be stuck there. If you look at what happens, if you can, and the best examples there are around the world. If you look at PSG, right, they bring in Unai Emery, is the best example, and they managed to lose the league to Monaco. If you have the wrong system and you're the wrong coach, it doesn't matter how many millions of pounds you spend, you won't succeed. It needs to be perfect. You need to have the right man in charge. There's lots of opportunities and lots of examples around Europe that we've seen when the coach is not right, you will not succeed. And
Tom,
go on, mate.
Go on, mate. Sorry. Go on, carry on.
I just think that we can say all of the lived on day, and I don't think it's realistic to say that Kroenke will move on, because I don't think he will. No matter. And someone asked earlier, where do we have to be? It doesn't matter. He's going to be here for the long term. So in our head, we can protest all we like, but my thinking is that as fans, our power is very, very small at the moment. The only thing that we can do is vote. If you don't want to do something, then vote with your feet and don't go.
That's right. Exactly.
That's the only thing that you can really do. But realistically, if the next signing comes in, the next appointment comes in, and say it works, say there's an initial bounce, what we need to do as fans is, if something goes wrong, like for a couple of games or 3 games, we cannot be as reactionary as we have been over the last
100%.
couple of seasons or so. We have to back this 100%. If it's the wrong appointment, then fair enough. But if it's completely different,
it's been 15 years, Tom. It's been 15 years.
Sonny, we can't think like that, though.
It's been 15 years, Kieran.
No, but we can't. No, but Sonny, we
what
can't.
What are you talking about, man? It's 15 years. Kieran, you're still at school, man. It's been 15 years.
I'm 35 years old, mate. I weren't at school. I'm a grown man.
You're doing your A-levels.
You're saying about the 15 years. We've wasted 2 years with Emery.
Playing in our team, mate. We were fucking dog shit. So you want to talk
Kieran,
about dog
we've
shit?
wasted 2 years with Emery. We've wasted 2 years with Emery.
So I'm not one of these new boys that fucking saw us at the end of the Arsene Wenger era.
Kieran, we've wasted 2 years with Emery.
I'm a
We've
fucking
wasted 2 years with Emery.
I just got Palmer's cocoa butter to thank me.
Kieran, we've wasted 2 years with Emery.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want
we get Nuno in.
I'm 22 unbeaten run. I must have been the only fucking stupid idiot that was fucking doing rants about our fucking average we were playing and fucking.
No, I said this, and all.
I couldn't knack it then. And I was fucking happy that it's gone. That's why I've said.
One at a time.
You're saying about hold up. All right, let's leave that a minute because there's a good one here, right? Lucas Torreira and said, hold up, before I put this up, Tom, you said you needed to go out 10. Are you still all right for a minute?
Yeah, 5 more minutes, mate, and I've got to shoot off.
All right, mate, no problem. Lucas Torreira's put, Terry, read this out. Spurs have smashed their transfer record twice a year after they have just built a stadium, and we are still selling our best players 15 years after the Emirates. What's your
when and bought one player? Fuck Spurs. Stop talking about Spurs. We get angry because Spurs are doing shit. I couldn't give a shit what they do. We've got to worry about ourselves, man.
They start overtaking us and winning.
They ain't going to win anything. They've got to win fucking 3 Premier Leagues. They've got to win FA Cups. They've got nowhere near us. They're nowhere near us.
Terry, let people finish their point.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Kieran.
No, it's all right. They're nowhere near us. I don't want to talk about Spurs.
But listen, is that for the Arsenal fans to want to protest, though? Is that what it's going to be?
Look. At the end of the day, are we asking for too much? We're asking for a decent bloody CDM. We're asking for 2 decent centre backs. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for too much.
I can't disagree.
I don't even think it's the defence anymore.
We do need. But the thing is that one of the worst things that's happened to this club is when we bought out that Stat DNA company, because all that's done is that company basically builds everything based on stats. So the Elneny signing, Mavropanos, and some of the others were basically signed because their stats will look good. I don't know the intricacies, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. But if you sign players based on statistics rather than using your eyes and looking actually, will they fit the system? Will they work with what we've got? Then we're going to continue in this mediocrity of signing players that look really good on the outset, and on paper they look great. When they come into the team, like Torreira, maybe like Pepe, they aren't going to perform like we expect them to. And then ultimately, because of the environment around the club, as soon as they have a string of bad performances, they're going to get jumped on and they're going to get criticised a lot. And it's going to affect them because we've seen it affect players.
Tom,
yes, mate.
am I right or wrong in saying Sven Misseltat used to judge players on that Stat DNA? Am I right or wrong in saying that?
He didn't use Stat DNA, but he uses stats heavily in his identification of players. But actually, most of it is done by his own judgment and his own.
Yeah, and that's the thing, wasn't it? Isn't it Emery that actually brings in players based on agents as opposed to scoping out what?
Raul is all about agents and contacts. Yeah,
that's not for me. For me, I think you should go and identify a player and fight tooth and nail to get that player, as opposed to getting a transfer list of players and saying, okay, you can get them on a shopping list. That doesn't work for me.
The next coach that we sign will be heavily influenced by George Mendes. I 100% guarantee you. Because Raul's connections with George Mendes are very well documented, and it's already looking like, from what I've looked at in the media and stuff, that George Mendes will heavily be involved. It probably won't be Nuno, even though it's his main client, but he will probably.
We miss Mourinho, mate. We miss Mourinho. That's George Mendes.
I wouldn't have gone for Mourinho personally, but
nor would I.
I don't. And to be fair, the George Mendes wasn't really involved in taking Mourinho to Spurs. It was another agent that dealt with that. But there is going to be an odd appointment. I really think it's going to be strange. Allegri's not coming. I generally don't think Allegri's going to be the guy. From if you read into it, what happened during his interview last year, when he was interviewed not last year, 2 years ago, he was quite arrogant apparently in the interview, and he turned around and asked Arsenal, why should you appoint me, rather than saying the reasons why he should be appointed, and that didn't go down very well, obviously. So he's pretty much out of this. Arteta, I genuinely think is a credible thing that could happen. And then, but if we go on a segue right back to the start of the show, a couple of you said that about Ljungberg, like he's an assistant manager, and that hasn't cut it. Well, there's a the devil's advocate to Arteta is that same again argument, is that he's been an assistant. Has he done enough to show that he deserves to be in charge of Arsenal? I'm not so sure. He intrigues me because he's an unknown, but like Arsenal,
mate, Lundberg though, mate, you can't compare him with Arteta. Obviously, Arteta's worked under Pep for 3 years, yeah. Lundberg was the under 23s, he was the under 16s. He might as well work with Vic Akers on the ladies' team, you know. and now he's the Arsenal manager.
Can I ask Tom a question quickly? Tom, so how would you have felt if you were a Chelsea fan, knowing that Frank Lampard was coming in at the beginning of the season?
I would have been buzzing, because I would have seen. Not only do I know that he's got great credibility and a connection with the club, but also I would have seen what he did at Derby in his first chance, and he took that chance and he took Derby and made them compete. Not only in the Championship, they got the closest they've come to getting to the Premier League in a long time, but in those big games in the FA Cups against Premier League sides, he took results, and he knew how to play against those teams. And he's doing it this season, and he's doing it in the hardest way at a club that's so built around spending millions.
Mm-hmm.
And he's taken a club full of youngsters that he's not that in tune with. He doesn't know too many of the players that are there now, but he's taken that club and that group of players and he's turned them into a competitive side.
He's also changing the culture of the club, with the mindset, which is because I remember going on one of Robbie's shows before, and they were proud to have the blueprint where it was managers not doing well after 6 months, we look to get rid of him. But the mindset of the Chelsea fans is changing, where they're happy to wait and give time to the youth. They want to see the youth players coming through, and I'm not adverse to that. I think the Arteta thing is slightly different to Ljungberg. As Sonny was saying, Ljungberg's been through the club for however long. Arteta's gone out and spread his wings elsewhere. But what I will say on top of that is I can't understand why it's okay for Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique, all these other managers, Zidane, to come through at Real Madrid and Barcelona through the youth ranks and through the second team, and Arsenal can't do that when a player's maybe gone elsewhere and then come back as well. It's not arrogant, but it's like you're talking about taking on Pep when Pep done exactly the same thing and went straight into Barcelona.
Exactly.
Right? So I can't understand why we can't do it.
Do you know what? It doesn't matter. I'll tell you something. Do you know what? With this group of players, it really does not matter who we have as manager at the moment, right? Because, having said that, if this was a game of chess, Unai Emery was playing drafts. He was that bad. Let's not get it wrong. Unai Emery was that bad. That's why he had to go, right? But let's also make the point. Put Pep in tomorrow, Arsenal ain't going to improve drastically. Not under his place. And the person that's boiled down to again is Raul. I'm sorry, it's Raul.
Yeah, but look, the manager who was at Emery would have identified players that he wants, players that he needs in certain positions. How is he letting Ramsey go? Why was that deal taken off the table?
I think I said it at the time. I think Emery was just happy to have the job. He was happy to have the nice fat salary that come with it. Yeah, he come off of PSG, didn't have nowhere to go, and he got offered Arsenal, which is an attractive proposition, living in London. I think that's why he got the job. At the end of the day, I think there's such a control freak in the board now, in Raul, that it doesn't matter who comes in. It's a poison. The board now are a poison chalice. You know, it's a dictatorship now up there.
I've got to shoot off, boys. I'm afraid.
Tom, thanks, mate.
I've got to do some editing before I go to bed. And,
please go subscribe to the Gooner Talk. Brilliant podcast. Tom knows his stuff. Tom, thanks for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Tom, thanks a lot, mate.
Nice to meet you, boys. Enjoy. See you later.
Take care, mate.
Can I just say quickly that I must have missed it because I was listening to what Tom was saying. But Matt Owls, I've emailed you 3 times now, myself, to ask you to come on the show, and you've made up excuses, whatever they may be. You know what I mean? That's down to you. But I will give you one more chance next week, right? I will give you one more chance. If you don't come on,
Terry, come on, man. This case is a messer.
This is getting stupid now. This is actually getting stupid now. Let's carry on with the podcast. It's getting stupid now. Come.
Right, let's
read some comments out, Terry.
All right. Gunner Talk put Tom talks a great game with hindsight. He uses meaningless stats that were irrelevant to defend Saka. Now he's saying Saka's not good enough, and he uses his eyes to judge people. Flip-flopper.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. And the man's put exactly, Terry. It's getting boring.
No,
Yeah.
forget that. We'll pass it. We'll pass it. Come on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
To be honest, I'm far from happy at the way Sonny has treated me. Oh no, that's fucking mad.
Do you know what? Block him now. The geezer's an absolute prick. Just get him off. He's winding me up, right? Slaggy.
See you later, mate. Bye.
Can I go back on that
Lee Gunner,
remark?
then he comes on here and slags Lee Gunner off to you.
Yeah.
Can I go back on that flip-flop remark from the last question just to answer that?
Go on,
What I
Kieran.
will say is people can't regard it as a flip-flop if they change their opinions. Changing your opinions and outing yourself as changing your opinions is a lot easier to do than being a stubborn prick and going against what you actually feel just for the sake of, like, for a front. So if someone rates a player and then turns around 6 months later and says, oh, actually, I was wrong, he's actually dog shit, that's not a flip-flop. That's changing of opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. These fucking phrases that keep going around flip-flop because someone changes their mind. You're not a flip-flop because you changed your mind. You're a flip-flop if you turn around to someone and say he's shit, turn around to the next one and say no, he's decent, then turn back to the other one and say he's shit. That's a flip-flop.
Man from the England report, I hope we finally sign some players with pace and agility because 80% of our squad is too slow. The modern game, especially in the Premier League, requires a hell of a lot of pace and agility as well as physicality. Totally agree with that.
Terry, I think Archie's just put in the comments because I can't see the comments. I keep having to flick through. Claude wants to come on, so you want to try and get Claude on if you want.
What I say about
Claude an invite.
what I say about
I've got to go in 10 minutes. So
Get Claude on for 10 minutes.
Right.
What I say about
while do it, man.
The pace. Yeah. What I say
Is he on Twitter?
Yeah, he is. Good. Claude AFTV. Claude AFC, I think it is.
What I will say about pace, yeah, is we've got pace in our team. We just don't play with pace. Our passing used to be intricate and fast. We don't do that anymore. Like we don't move the ball quick enough. That's our problem. You don't have to be the fastest player in the world because the ball does the movement. Like it's our trade of fault. It's our in the area taking an extra touch. It's in the midfield we're taking it. That's the pace. The pace of the game we're playing is slow, not at the pace of our players, which is the problem. Because you've got Aubameyang, you've got Martinelli, you've got Saka. They're quick, but we're not getting the ball to them quick, and we're taking extra touch.
This is my issue.
He's not following me, so I can't send it to him.
Right, don't worry about it. Nubian Eyes is saying we don't have a winning mentality at the club, regardless of what players brought in. That's down to the fans, mates, because the fans ain't got a winning mentality.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Also as well, John Paul Harrington saying, I don't know where we go from here. I have no faith in the board picking the right coach, and I have no faith in Kroenke backing them in the transfer market. The next coach would have to be a yes man. I think every Arsenal fan feels the same, mate. Now we've totally lost faith in the board.
We need quick thinking midfielders who can see the play 2 and 3 plays in advance.
Let's get it right. They've moved on from Wenger and made a total pig's ear of it.
Guys, it took
James just brought Bernie Emirates to the ground and let's build a cricket team.
Guys, it took Liverpool 30 years to get back to being firing.
No, but
get Flo Zanelli on for 10 minutes. You're gonna need his email address or his Twitter.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be me. You're at DM. You're in my DMs.
the kid, it took them 13 years to get to the stage they are now. But you saw where they wanted to go, and there was a natural progression. You know what I'm saying?
Lucas Torreira made a very good point. We're going to end up like AC Milan. He has to do it right.
Yeah, that's the worry. But that's the worry if we keep on getting like the wrong type of players in. That's why I say take your time with the manager. Take your time with take your time. I'm not in a rush because, as Tom said earlier, this is a fucking important appointment. Because if we get it wrong, you've then got another load of players which are the wrong kind of players for the club. You're taking the ethos of the play, the way we want to play. We're taking it in another direction. Like it's going to take 10, 15 years to get back to where you want to be. It has to be. You can't rush this thing. You can't rush it.
Okay, when you say take your time, what do you mean? Next season?
Don't forget when Liverpool got Klopp, they got laughed at. Fans laughed at them when they drew against West Brom.
No,
hear me out.
You're wrong. The kid, you're wrong. The kid, you're wrong. I spoke to a Liverpool fan.
Hear me out. When they drew against West Brom and they celebrated, all of you laughed.
You may have.
They were doing.
No. Anyone knows Klopp. Sorry,
I wanted Klopp.
I didn't even finish my point. My point was not Klopp that you were laughing at. My point was you laughed at them when they were celebrating a draw against West Brom at the end of the season when they didn't get top 4. That right there was definition of getting the fans on side, building a connection with the fan base, and knowing that you guys are on the right track. Right now, all we want.
But kid, what I want to say is relevant to our boys. When we celebrated getting top 4. People were saying it's an embarrassment.
And now look at
celebrated it. Now all of a sudden Liverpool celebrating the last game where they're not getting top 4. We shouldn't be laughing at that. Like the reason why we probably laughed at that, even though I don't even think I don't waste my time with other clubs. I don't give a shit what other people do.
You know what? Kid. You know what? You only been on the show for 5 minutes. You just made the silliest comment of the night, mate. But basically, right. So what did you want Arsenal to do after they drew against Norwich? All stand in centre circle and hold hands. What did you want them to do?
Show the fans that you've been to away games.
By holding hands, bruv. By holding hands and doing Mexican waves. Are you serious? Are you serious?
No.
If I had the ball, I'd have thrown the ball.
Today's game, the result was not good, but they were trying. You could see that they were trying. They were trying to close down balls. They were getting back defensively. It was different. It wasn't the same as before. They were
trying before, kid, man. They were trying before. They're not good enough.
They're not good enough. That second half was an embarrassment. That second half, the way we defended was an embarrassment. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if you watched it differently to me. I don't give a shit. Most of the people that I've spoke to today about it, my dad, my brother, Sonny, everything, you know what I mean? We've all said it. That second half was absolute shit today. And if you say that differently,
they're playing Norwich for God's sake. They're playing Norwich for God's sake.
Exactly.
Norwich, 19th for the league. 19th for the league, bruv. You're saying they're trying. It's fucking Norwich.
If you had one game, right? If the board asked you, right, to manage one game for Arsenal, right, and if you do a good job, right, they'll look at maybe giving you it longer term. And the game they gave you was Norwich. Would you not be thinking, oh my God, I've landed on my feet, Norwich?
Yeah, but
Man City or Chelsea.
Guys, don't forget. He was given 24 hours to prepare for a game.
Hang on, 1 minute, please. I just seen a comment by Claude. Claude, right? Claude has been going Arsenal for years and years and years, right? He's seen the good days, he's seen the bad days. And our disgraceful fan base abused Claude today at the game, right?
Again,
that's how disgusting. That's how disgusting our fan base is. If Arsenal was shit, how is that Claude's fault?
It's not.
Well, do you really think Claude wants to stand there and say that about his team? Is that what you think? Do you think he wants to stand there and say that? I don't understand these fans.
No one does.
Disgusting, mate.
That is why we will never unite. Because
Claude has got the ball. Claude has got the ball to say it as it is. People can't fucking handle it.
Yeah, but what I remember, is these all just fucking opinions. Do you think I agree with everything any of you lot say? Have a fucking laugh, mate. It's the reason why we're on it.
If you just don't agree with me, because I can knock you off this show now.
guys, everyone's different. Some people are pessimistic, some people are optimistic. I choose to be optimistic.
Optimistic about what, kid, you've been doing this. No disrespect to you. You know I love you. We talk all the time about it. But listen, you can't be optimistic about shit. You can't be.
I've been listen. To be honest, I grew up.
Terry, let people talk. Terry, please.
Listen, I grew up. I didn't see all the glory days like you guys have. So this is pretty much what we have right here. Is pretty much what all I know. And for me to be a fan, I have to be optimistic. I haven't seen what you guys seen. Let's be honest. You guys have seen trophies on trophies on trophies. I came into the game after majority of the trophies have already been won. The only thing that I could even close to remember was the last league title that we won. I don't remember many league titles. Don't forget that.
I'm just not sure we should be on the same chat together, mate. I might get fucking arrested.
Don't forget that.
You know, kid.
So that's how deep it is. You guys are laughing, making jokes, but this shit's deep, bro. Like there's a whole generation of fans. There's a whole generation of fans that never seen the league title.
Bruv. It's one thing being optimistic, right? It's one thing being optimistic. It's a bit like saying you're going to run down the street and beat a car. It's not going to happen, bruv. If they're crap, you can be optimistic as you want. It's not going to happen.
No, but the difference between me the difference between me and you and Sonny is I compare what is going on at our club to other clubs. You only look at what's going on internally. That's what I do.
No, the kid, no.
I think, okay, what I will say is I think you need to take an element of that away from you. You got to stop. You need to think about what's happening in your own house as opposed to what's happening next door, mate. Because that's part of our problem, where we're constantly chasing what other people are doing and constantly want to do what other people are doing, and we don't know what's in our own fucking garden, mate.
Exactly.
Problems.
Okay. So do you guys at least get where I'm coming from, though? Now you understand a little bit more.
We're more confused.
Look,
we're more confused.
I get it, but I don't agree with it. I do agree with. Look, I'm trying to be positive. Like, and I for me, I don't know if you listened earlier on, but it was 5 against 1. When I'm trying to think on a more positive note about today, and that's not anything, because I understand why boys are pissed off. I completely understand it. They're, as Terry said, Ljungberg's been there for however long. He should know what the best team is.
100%.
But I'm not going to judge Ljungberg on this 2 days that he's had and what the game was today. I'd like to see what happens in the next few games. Then I can make an actual better.
Kieran, the problem is, bro. The problem is, right? We've totally mucked up our season already, right?
Yes.
We haven't got a few games to give 30. That's the problem.
Look, we ain't getting top 4. We ain't getting top 4.
No, you're right, bro. You're right. So we might as well just write this season off.
We've got another super chat from Flo 299. The kid is just another tie. Thanks
for that. Congratulations.
Every team needs to try, mate. Trust me.
Yo, listen. When it comes down to it, if we just play the kids the rest of the season and they try hard, we're not going to get relegated realistically. But we're not going to do
that. No, we're in relegation form, bruv. We're in relegation form. No one is too good to go down, right?
My point is we should develop the kids this season.
Let me just say one thing. Right? When you go to work, the kids, when you go to work, right, you do your job to the best of your ability, You might not be good at it, you might be good at it, either one, right?
Okay.
If the people at the top who own your company are not running it properly, at the end of the day, you do not know if you're going to have a job by the end of the month or you're going to get paid. But if Arsenal not being run properly at the top, it's going to filter down to the bottom, and that's where we're going wrong. At the top, we are in turmoil.
The kid. I don't know if you was old enough to remember, but as you keep saying, you're quite young. Is that West Ham, right? They had a fantastic team. Fantastic team with all their young players, Joel Cole, Frank Lampard, Rio Ferdinand. They had all them players and they got relegated. It's easily done.
The only thing I'd say about West Ham
relegation battle, that is it.
Yeah. I'd say it's more of a Newcastle, because West Ham were never fucking decent. They just talk.
But I'm just saying, like, they had great players.
No, I know. I fully get
so West Ham. I'm going to back about West Ham and their team. Matthew Hudson has made the best point going, right? No one should accept mediocrity. That's it.
No one should.
Listen, I've got to go now. I don't know if you boys want to carry on. If I go,
we'll end it.
I'm sorry. I've loved being on it, but I need to go.
Right. Basically, let me finish up then. Arsenal have drained us all. Right. You can see by my demeanour. How happy was I yesterday? Arsenal drained me. They've slapped me about. I'll say that, bruv. Right. So now, roll on Thursday and roll on to some more pain. We're going to the fucking dentist without a needle to bloody help us get rid of pain. It's painful. Arsenal fans all around the world, wake the fuck up. Right. Anyway, that's the end of the stream. Please hit like. Please subscribe. Please share. Please follow me on Twitter. Sunny with big S, underscore Arsenal with a big A1. Follow me on Twitter and come on the show. Just want to say thanks to everybody. Terry, Diesel, the kid, Junior. Shout your channel out, Kieran.
KS1, go and check it out. I've been doing quite a few videos recently, loads of rants. Anything I hear on TalkSport or anything, any stupid comments I hear on anything, I usually mind about it. Check me out. Type in Kieran Stewart, you'll find me everywhere.
And also, everyone go and follow Gunnar Claude, pop Arsenal fan. Says it as it is. And if you don't like what he says, just shut up and respect it. Simple as that.
Get him to follow me for next time. I can get him on the stream then.
Yeah, get him to follow me too.
Anyway, that's us up, brother. We're knackered. We're pissed off and done again as usual.
Yeah.
Arsenal, thanks very much for ruining. Arsenal, thanks very much for ruining another week. Take care. Well done.